I am Alvaro, Alfaro Morales. I am a religious education major and agriculture technician. My specialty is education, but I study agriculture in the school, so I understand the both sides of education. Uh, for secondary education, my specialization is religion, but I understand agriculture too. Now we are talking about designing public policy for climate change. So is the example that I am going to use is Chile, because I am Chilean, and we are doing almost fine these last years. In difference with the previous years, we are increasing the level of the policies, and I think the ideas are better, and the communication of these ideas are better too. I think that is one of the most important stuff in the last 5 years or 6 years. We have a better communication of the necessity of designing public policy for climate change, because the climate change is addressing us in a strong way. So let's talk about Chile. Okay, these are the photographs of Chile. We have Santiago, that is the major city in Chile. It's kind of is our biggest city, about 6 million inhabitants there. Is near from the Los Andes, and is a valley, a really deep valley. So they have problems with contamination because they don't have too many winds there. So the contamination stay there in the winter, and in the summer they have really big heat in the summer, around 36 or 40. That is not really normal in Chile. The second photograph is Valparaiso. That is
the best city in the world. What?
A city by the coast. It's a big city too, and it's a mix between really technological city and a classic city. You could see like just normal houses there. This is in the hills, but in the low ground there is universities, enterprises, and stuff. So later, these cities are in the center of the country. One is by the Los Andes, the other one is by the coast. And we have in the south part of Chile this kind of climate. You could see like a really rainy place with snow, with really beautiful places as Osorno or other places more in the south, with big lakes, a lot of trees, forests and stuff. And in the other side of Chile, because we are a really long country, in the north part, this is the south part. In the north part of Chile, we have this climate, desert one. Is the most desert place in the world. In fact, NASA made proofs to going to Mars in this desert because it's the most near with Mars. That is like really, really dry, really heat in the day, really hot in the day, and really cold in the night. I think the variation sometimes is 60 degrees during day, from 50 degrees in the day Celsius and minus 20 in the night. The variation is really high. Okay, Chile, we are located in South America. The population is 17 million people, almost. We are not really sure. Okay, we have gross domestic production per capita, or PIB, is $25,000, almost 26,000. We are the first country in Latin America US barrel leading by Panama is like sometimes Panama is better, sometimes we are better, and they are not sure, we are not sure. So, but normally we are called the first country in South America in economic stuffs. We are the first ones in Human Development Index in Latin America region. That is an average of 0.819, but we are the 40th country in the world. So being the first in South America is not like really difficult because the competition is not really difficult. So the most important for today is we are the fifth country with most coastline spending um, almost 80 kilometers, 80,000 kilometers almost, and we produce a lot of garbage. Um, our well-being, economic well-being, now is addressing in a negative way to Chile because we increase our production of garbage per capita from 200 kilograms, that is the normal in South America. We produce 40 or maybe 50, no, 500, almost 500 kilograms of garbage per person per year. That is a lot of garbage, and it's really uh, above the other Latin American countries. Normally, we say that we are not a first world country, but nor a tier world one. We are in the middle, kind of parking in the middle. Some people is telling you or telling us, "Oh, you are a development country," and we say no. We are not a developed country, and we are not in the first world. In economics, we are, but we don't have other stuff than we need. So that is the problem. We are in the middle with some laws that need to be changed. We need more distribution of the wellness because we have people that is really really rich with really good places in Forbes and stuff. And in the other way, we have people that is really really poor. But our actual fight is how to go to the first world on a green way. And I misspelling way, so don't see that, please. Okay, what is the problem? The major problem in Chile, I say we are parking in the letter. We are parking here in the stairs. There is the third world. There is the first world, and we are in the middle, and we don't know how to do. So now we are trying new ideas, new methods, and we have new laws. Problems in Chile that we are addressing to the climate change. For example, floods in Copiapó. What is the problem? You could see, okay, floods in the world is not like impossible, but the problem is Copiapó is near from the desert. You see, I already showed you the driest desert on the world. Okay, this is in the side. It's not normal that they are not used to be to rain. Obviously, they don't used to be to have too many rain. So normally they don't have more than 20 millimeters of water, of rainwater in 1 year. That year, 2015, they received 60 millimeters in 1 day. So that was a really big problem. And we addressed this to the climate change. The other problem was flood on Chaitén. The Copiapó is in the north part of Chile. Chaitén is in the south part. Okay, in the south part, we have some not cities, little towns in the mountains, and this one Chaitén is in a valley in the mountains. The problem was they have a lake in the upper side of the town, and this lake was protected by an iceberg, but the iceberg um, melted out, and the lake was flowed over the town and killed 25 people. So this is for climate change too, because normally in the north part of Chile is like really cold all the year, and the icebergs are fine. But in the last 3 or 4 years, we have iceberg melting in the south part, and this iceberg melting produce a flood because the lake that this iceberg protected was flood over the city. And the other problem is fishers versus state. We have a really big coastline, so too many people is working in fishermen works like fishing salmon, fishing cod, and in other works like fishing lobster or crabs and that kind of things. So the problem is that the industrial fishers are destroying the coastline and destroying the resources. So the little fishermen are fighting for a solution, and they are making protests and stuff. So there is a little vote that they work in these votes against like the big enterprise votes. So this fight for the resources is not really fair, but they are fighting and they are trying to convince the government to change the law and to protect more disease. And the last problem that we address to the climate change is the expensive and unreliable electricity metrics. In the 1995, we had a long dry season, and almost all electricity is from hydraulic plants. So if we don't have rain, we don't have our hydraulic plants, and we go out from electricity. This is not like the most not cleaning form of producing electricity, but have a big problem. The problem was that with the dry season, we lost our systems, even in hospitals. So that was really a big problem. So what are the solutions that the country are working now? The solutions are normative law 20,920 is a normative to say that if you are a producer of any pollution material with your products, you need to recover it. For example, if you have the price, for example, plastic bottles, then is here. Later, you are going to the market and the people that is buying your bottles. No, normally that this is going to garbage. But the new law is asking us that we need to put this in the recycling places or with the recycling people. That is normally people that is working for collected the bottles or the paper or wherever you need. And this is going to a recycling enterprise. This enterprise later sell the bottles going back to the first producer. The idea of the law is then we need to send less bottles or tires or plastic bags and other stuff. We need to send less of these products to garbage disposals and put in recycling system. These have two major benefits to the country. The first is if you're recycling the bottles, for example, plastic ones or bottle of glass ones, you need to less commodities. You need to less oil or less sand to produce the bottles because you are recycling a part of them. And the other is that these bottles are not going to a garbage deposit. So that is important. This law is promotion because if you do it this, you receive rewards. If you don't do it, you receive fines. But if you do it, you receive rewards. For example, the government put a kind of seal on your enterprise, like this enterprise is a green one, like go and buy there. And for people that sell products for the exterior of the country, they are like, okay, this is a good enterprise in Chile, and they present these enterprises in international fairs. That is really good too. So if you follow the law, you receive more clients, and that is good for your enterprise. So it's saving the planet, but the way to convince the enterprises and the big companies is that the government is making a promotion of this enterprise in the country and outside the country. Is saying, okay, this is a good enterprise. That is the most important in this law. Then the government is making promotion of the enterprise in the country if you follow the law. So the second stuff is plastic bags. According of a national survey in 2016, 92% of the Chileans agree with the provision of the single-use plastic bags. What are the single-use plastic bags? Are these bags that you earn it for just buying your bread or buying your fruits, and it's a plastic bag that you use from, for example, the bakery to your home, and later it's going to garbage. One use, you use just one time for a little amount of time. This time is around 5 until 20 minutes. So you are using a plastic bag for 20 minutes, and you are putting in the environmental for 1,000 years or 2,000 years. So that is why it's important to the prohibition of one-use plastic bags. Normally, in this design, Chile works in this way. We need to put a penalty in the people. If you receive or you give a plastic bag in this law, you receive a fine of 5 UTM. It's a monthly tribunal unit, and is 1 UTM is 77 USD. So 5 is a really big fine to Chile. So it's a good one, and normally the people learns with some punishment. So it's necessary in public politics. You need to be a good guy, as here, the good guy then say to the world, this is a good company, but you need to be the bad guy too. Like, okay, you need to pay if you don't follow the law. And this law is promoted by the president, Michelle Bachelet, and the Secretary of Environmental, Marcelo Mena. The Secretary of Environmental is a really great guy, and Sarah loves him. Okay, the other stuff is marine protected areas. You know, we have problems with fishermen, and the government created a new protected areas. What is this? Is kind of an area with a strong vigilance. So you cannot fishing there, you could not make pollution there. And if you do, the marine, like, or army is going to, or navy, sorry, or navy is going to pursue you, and the government is going to put fines on you in these marine protected areas. The difference between marine protected and sanctuary is in these marine protected areas, some people, for example, in the island, they can to be fishing there. They have permission to fishing in a sustainable form. They receive a place, for example, a square, and they receive this square to care about this square, and they can to fish there. In a sanctuary, you cannot fish in or receive a place there. In a marine protected area, you could have a place to fishing in a sustainable way. That is, you need to put food for fishes there or for lobster, for example. This is Juan Fernandez. That is an island in the south part of Chile. So they have a marine protected area, and they receive places for fishing lobsters, but they need to care about the lobsters. They have regulation for this. That is really good for them because other enterprises, for example, big companies, cannot go in there to fishing lobsters, and that increase the price of lobsters, so they win more money, and they are in a more sustainable fishing. So that is really good. That is other solution in Chile, the marine protected areas, and these protected areas are very big. The other, for the problem of the blackouts and the expensive electricity, was solar power plants. We start with little bit solar power plants, really little ones, because all the people was okay, but we have hydraulic plants, we have a coal, so why we need solar power plants? Was the people was a little bit afraid, but we put some power plants in the north part of Chile, and we have the driest desert, and we receive a really big amount of energy from the sun. It's like a really big amount. So we discovered that in Chile, the power plants works better than in other countries. We produce more electricity with the same panels. So it's the best place to put these power plants. We pass from 0.5% of solar power plants to 17% of solar power plants. That means that from our energy, the 17%, from all the electricity that Chile produces, 17% is from solar power plants. Then it's a big amount, I think. And it's a big way to produce works. Some people in other countries is afraid, like, no, but the clean energy is going to take the works, because if you have a strong laws against pollution, you could like produce loss of the losing of jobs. But no, in Chile, the strong laws about environmental protection is producing this. These plants needs people to work, to ensemble it, to care about, to do the maintenance and stuff. So this produce a lot of work. Okay, how they did, how the government uh, produce the possibility and produce that the people understand that we need this, and how the people understand the new laws. Okay, they do some Facebook accounts from Energy Ministry and from Environmental Ministry, and they make some public awareness campaigns in television, but mostly in the social media, like Facebook, Twitter, and that kind of stuff. For example, this is Environmental Secretary of State, and they do memes. So this is important. They made a serious work, but to reach the people, they do this kind of things. They use memes uh, for a very important topic: plastic bottle, straws, one-use plastic bags, paper cups. Now we have the bottle that you could reuse, a reuse bag, and a mug. You don't need a paper cup, you need a mug. And sorry, but if you are not a person with like serious problems, you could use a bottle without the straw or a cup without the straws. They have these campaigns are like from the Ministry of Energy. Now is summer here in Chile, and the Ministry of Energy is telling you ligerito de ropa, than say it's like use shorts and use just uh, light clothes, and don't use too many air conditioned air. Don't use like the cold part of your conditioned air and spend too many energy just going with shorts. Then it's a really good stuff. And this one is important because this is Gaston. You see here too. And it's kind of a mascot, or like it's the representative of the Ministry of Energy. They have memes, they have infographics, and that kind of stuff. They use, and they are really reaching the people. The Ministry of Energy and the Ministry of Environmental Issues are the most following ministers in the country. They are like, they have too many followers, and it's because they are using not really serious communication, but they communication in a good way. And this one is the most important environmental periodist in the country. Yeah. Mami, porfa, estoy ocupado. Entonces, this is the most important periodist in the world. Okay, in Chile, the most important environmental periodist is a puppet. It's kind of a Plaza Sésamo puppet, but this is a Chilean one, and all people love it. He started in a kids show, but this show presents some environmental issues. Later, the shows was off of television, but this red bunny he's going to maintain during at least 5 years, the last 5 years, in environmental issues. So when you see some documental or reportage with this bunny, you know that it's a serious stuff. Okay, but how do you do in your country? You see, we have memes. We have a red bunny as environmental periodist. We have Gaston, as the mascot of the one ministry. Make it personal. When when we see this, no hagamos bolsa al mar, is a really Chilean expression. So it's kind of bolsa is plastic bag, but in Chilean dialect, bolsa is is used for telling destroy. I am destroyed, or I am with problems. So yeah, it's a yaku. Okay. Um, the bolsa is a plastic bag, I say, but it's a Chilean expression to say I am destroyed. I am with some goons. So no hagamos bolsa is like uh, don't uh, hurt the sea. Don't make goons in the sea. So it's really Chilean expression. So it's addressing the Chilean people because it's designed for Chilean people. So it's make it personal. Le pegaron al este, parece. Entonces, is make it personal. The other is make it economically feasible. They have some rewards for people. Man, por favor, cállense. Okay, is they receive rewards, and in the make it feasible, they have this. Fiesta del Reciclaje is kind of party of recycling. Is for two stuff. Is a party, like really a party with music, with dance, with Zumba and stuff. But in the other way, it's a place to reunite some people from, for example, big companies that need recycling his bottles, and other people that is recycling, or some people that need to collect bottles and the collectioners. So they have these two functions. It's a party, but it's a party when you reunite the people that is working in recycling, and that is funny. Make it personal because the people know it in face to face, and this party is obviously economically feasible because the people start some business there. Like you need to purchase bottles, and I sell to you. So they have this connection, and that is important. So make it funny. It's funny for you. Memes are funny, or are now important in the Chilean culture. So if in your country this is fine and is funny for your country, use it. Personal is because we use in the policies, they are using Chilean language. They are being not really serious in the communication, but with serious background. It's a serious background, but the communication is normal. It's like more personal. Is in Chilean dialect. Then it's not like, oh, they are not in the position of we are a serious ministry, or we are going to be away of the people. They are involved with the people. That is important. and economic feasible, you need to have some promotions, and the people, the government is doing promotions. And it's personal because, for example, here is the nice guy. He's he is the minister of environmental issues in Chile. Is the secretary of environmental issues, and you know this woman is just Sarah.
Just?
Yeah, just Sarah. It's like the ministry and just Sarah. Why? Because this minister, this secretary of state, is involved with people, with normal people, and Sarah, that is a normal people, is going to participate in environmental conferences and meet this guy. The other ministers of the other secretaries of Chile, you cannot approach in an easy way. You don't see them in conferences because you are in another part of the conference. And now this guy is involved with people in a directly way. That is important because the people is hearing him now. If other secretary of state say something, the people is like, who is this guy? But with this guy, with Marcelo Mena, the people know it, know who is, and that is important.
And
yeah,
he's
just
super nice.
yeah, you
I
know.
only
And in
kind of
here,
stalked him and his delegation at COP, but it worked out
yeah,
because I got this picture with him,
it's Mr.
which
Nice
was like
guy.
the highlight of my week.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
Sarah's crush. Um, yeah, but just a crush. It's important. Okay, what links I use it? The portal of government is the website of the Ministry of the Environmental Ministry or Secretary of State here in Chile. They have a lot of material, but the material is in Spanish. But if you know Spanish, it's a really good portal to you. Have activities for children, activities for young people, activities for other people like old people and like adults. They have materials to start your own lombricultural place, your compost. They have a lot of material. Later, the most following Facebook of the government, Secretary of Environmental Issues and Secretary of Energy Issues. So they are good ones. I take it the photos from there. And the other one is a notice, cooperativa.cl, that is a serious periodist webpage, and they say they made the notice of the new law of plastic bags that is going to start to function this year, we hope. And they made the surveys that say that the 92% of people is according or is yes according with these new laws for protect the environmental, so for care about climate. So it's important that the government and the state in the last 6 years, two different governments, not just one, the last two governments, one of the left side and one of the right side of the politics, the two governments working in this, and that is important. Now, Michelle Bachelet, that is the president, uh, is receiving rewards, international prizes and stuff, and it's very important because he started with this in a strong way. The previous government start, but not in a serious way, this government starts like more harder and is working. But the most important, I think, is this: make it funny, make it personal, and economically feasible. Okay, you need to convince your people that it's going to win something, but in a personal way, in a funny way. If you just send serious information for the people don't care about. But if you use the language of the people is going to be more open to hear you. Okay, that is the finish. Ta-da!
Thanks, Alvaro.
Questions?
All right. Did anyone have any questions to start off with?
Hello, can I have just interaction?
Sure. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you, Alvaro. Nice to meet you first. It's very interesting your presentation. But I just want to know, just is this your specialty? Are you studying this or just this presentation?
Okay, no, my specialty is education.
Mm-hmm.
So I am an agricultural technician too. I study organic agriculture in the school. So I understand this in a good way. And I study with my sister too, because my sister is marine biologist.
Okay, that's
So the
awesome
part of
because I mean I'm a biologist and environmentalist as well. But this part of politics, this part of laws, I mean about climate change and environment and stuff. I think it's quite interesting for me. And I think because what we see, it's like not only in your country, but as well in Morocco, my country, or in another countries in the world, it's like the same thing. It's like there is a lot of law, a lot of laws, a lot of regulation, but the thing, it's like how to make it applicable. You know what I mean? In the reality, it's not like just having a words in a paper as well to applicate it in 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 reality when we speak every day and our daily stuff. But what and the idea that it's like you make if you are doing some awareness about a issue or a problem, you do it with something funny, something that people can understand. It's like that in their daily life. But instead of serious stuff, it's like do not do this or do this, or you know what I mean. So what? Yeah, it's awesome. But also, I want your contacts as well because um, I'm doing some studies, some stuff, but I need this part of politics, this stuff of laws. We can collaborate with this. But thank you for your presentation. It was awesome. But uh, yeah, it's fantastic. I'm gonna let the others react.
thank you. I think of the most important is the no serious communication from the government was a really good idea. For like all the years in social media, the Ministry of Education was the most followed. But with this new politics of okay, do memes or do funny stuff for the people to they understand the environmental and energy stuff. The Ministry of Education now is the loser, and like environmental and energy ministries are in the top of followers, almost the most followers in the country. So they are like really reaching the idea of passing the information to the people.
Yeah, I can understand. There was, intelligent how to react with the community with this. I mean, they make things funny. They make things, they are trying to make it. I mean, but yeah, that's a very good idea. I hope that our government as well in Morocco and in another country to do the same thing, because what we see, it's like it's the first time I see this. It's like making a picture of Drake. It's like doing this. No, not the plastic, but it's it's so intelligent to do this and to. I hope that I can see our government or our environment government, this do this as well. But yeah, it's quite interesting.
Maha, I think Maha Malia is having a question in the chat, and I put the chat there.
Yeah, Amanda said, I know Chile has high literacy rates. How has this helped environmental activism and policies?
Okay, sorry, Sarah, but I need to say this. When you have an education, if you're in your country, you could talk about science or about these matters that are not really difficult for people. Like if you finish your secondary education, you have the possibility of understand this. You don't need like a university level for understand this. But in some countries at the US, or then they have a high education, but in the other way they have a really strong ideologies against climate change. Um, they have these problems that they have higher education but a strong ideology against, so that doesn't work, and it's really complicated to put new politics or put ideas in that people. In the other way, you have the countries that don't have any education. So if you say this, I don't know, Bolivia, Peru, that are the most, the lower educational systems in South America, they don't understand in a good way, but they have practice experience. Like if you go to, I don't know, a countryside in Bolivia, you are not going to have the capacity, or they don't have the capacity to understand all that you are going to explain about climate change. But they have a compost, they have earthworms for doing for doing manure or stuff, that kind of stuff, for composting in the yard. They don't know why the all the worry about that they do it. Now in Chile, we are in the middle. We have good education. Obviously, we need to increase the level, but uh, with this level, the people is understanding in an easy way uh, all that the government is presenting now. And the people understand, the people is interesting in the participation of seminaries and conferences or courses for this. For example, I am a professor, no, I am a teacher here in Chile. I have a educational license or education major, and sometimes the government make the offer to take in environmental seminaries, and they are always full of people. I try to take at least 10 times, and I don't reach that goal than just take a seminary, because they are always full of people. So I think the literacy or the education is important, because the people have a level to understand and is interesting in understand, but we are not with bad ideologies like negationism of climate change. So we are in a good place now. I think 10 years ago we were not, but now we are in a good place. Do you respond you or no? So here's okay. From environmental education, we are working now in this. Now in science class and in other classes, we are speaking about environmental care. Uh, and we have different programs for different ages. These programs are available in the portal that I show you. You know, I show you the environmental ministry webpage than this one, and they put there like the programs, worksheets, and that kind of stuff, and that is really good because I always say to the people, the kids need to be they need to go from the magic world to the philosophic one. That means that when a child is a little child in primary education or in kindergarten education, like in the, I don't know how to say, but previous to the primary education, we have 3 years here of education, previous primary. So in that level, you need to show que no grites. Okay, sorry, my nephews are here. Okay, in Chile or in the world, the little kids need to go to a magical stuff. So you need to show them butterflies and beautiful places. They need to be in love with nature. In primary education, they start to understand how the natures work and how it doesn't work. For example, you need to put water in seeds to germination, or you need to care about your plant. If you want avocados in the future, you need an avocado plant, and you need to care your avocado plant. So that is primary education. And in secondary education, the kids need to know why, not just how. So why care about the climate? Why we need to don't pollute the world? Why? Because they need the philosophic stuff. So you need to follow this process. If you try to work with philosophic stuff in previous to primary education, it doesn't work. You need to go 4 levels. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Alvaro. How are you?
Fine, and you?
I'm good. I'm Kevin. Have something to say. I'm just listening to your presentations, nice presentations. And I feel like my friend from Morocco said the thing is quite the same from difference to difference. I'm from Tanzania, Africa. If you speak about the bottle, about the plastic bags, it's the same story. In Tanzania, we have a big problem on that stuff. But I saw the solution you have. You take yeah, like I say, penalties and other policies to make things quite different. But in our country, the little problem is about awareness. Many people, they don't have any, like and how can say, they have no any right information about climate change, right information about how that plastic bags can affect their lives, how water can affect their lives. They even use someone to use the boat and throw away, and someone used the bag and 2 minutes and threw away from even care nothing, even they care nothing about next generation. Or we have a low awareness here. So how Chile develop this factor in awareness to solve the solutions?
Okay, in Chile,
Which way are you using? Yeah.
in
Which way
Chile,
are you using I see you use some different stuff to in awareness, but uh, how do you guys be success on that strategies on awareness?
okay, um, the first then Chile it made the identification of the problems. So the plastic bags are the 30% of the plastic in the seas, and we have a really big coastline around 80,000 kilometers. So we need to have a clean sea because too many people lives from the sea. Fishermen, some people then work with seafood and other stuff. So we need to care not just in a philosophic way. We need to care about economics. So it's important that the people understand that if you have a contamination today, it's going to affect yourself in the future, like in the short term. For example, in some places of the country, uh, the plastic bags and other plastics is going to bays, and in the bays the people is fishing, so you cannot fish in a polluted beach. uh, that is one stuff. Then you need to know the problem and know factors of the problem. Now we start with one stuff, with plastic bags. It's a reduction of the pollution. It's not the complete solution at all. It is a reduction of the problem, and the form to inform the people is from using social media, from education, and obviously that is complicated because in different countries you have different education levels, different access to internet and computers and stuff. You have different cultures, so it's difficult to uh, make the people understand the global problems when you have local problem, strong local problems. Uh, that is a reality that is really difficult to defeat. If you have problems, for example, hunger, or you don't have other choice than burned wood or burned biomass to cook it because you don't have gas in your country or in your place, it's difficult to the people there understand. Then they need to be more ecological. So one of the major problems to um, climate change is the poverty. Climate change produces poverty, and poverty produces climate change too. It's a circle, and if you fight the climate change, you need to fight poverty too. If you don't fight the poverty, the climate change is going to continue, because normally the polluted technologies, the more that produce more pollution, are cheaper than others. So the people is going with good and not with gas for example, heat the house. So you need to fight poverty. It's difficult, really difficult, but we need to start for something. Normally in Chile, the plastic bags, we are telling the people that we use it, uh, fabric bags in the past. So it's not impossible to going back to the past and use fabric bags again. It's difficult because here in Chile, or actual wellness, economic wellness, is doing that some people is going lazy. It's like, oh, but I need to take the fabric bag from my home to the place and buy the stuff and go back to home. But if I use a plastic bag, I just need to go to the place and receive the bag and go home. It's like that kind of stuff. But I think the principle is you need to fight poverty, you need to fight, you need to educate the people, and that is obviously complicated.
Okay, thank you so much.
If I could add one thing to that, I think Chileans are very proud of the natural beauty of their country, and ecotourism has helped show how the beauty of their country can be economically important. And so having just like an aesthetic value and an economic value to the natural environment that they have, Chileans know that they have to take care of it. So they realize that they have, like, that Patagonia is absolutely stunningly gorgeous, and also makes them a lot of money because it brings in so many tourists.
Yeah,
they know that their coastline is important. And even like the Atacama Desert in the north has beauty to it when it blooms in the spring for like 24 hours or whatever it is. It's the Chileans are so proud of it. They're like, oh, you have to go south. You have to see this. It's so beautiful down there. There's all these lakes and things like that. The forests are gorgeous. You would love it. And so having that value to the natural environment helps them recognize that they need to protect it.
Yeah, and now the people working in tourism isn't working like in green tourism, because they know that they care for, if they care the place, then they are working. All other people is going, because Chile don't have like too many promotion for touristic places, but the promotion is being from people to people, like people to came Chile, say to the friends, hey, Chile is beautiful and it's safety place, so come there, and go to do tourism there. So the same tourist operators are working in a green way because it's economically good for them.
And Kelvin, if you want to get connected with an ecotourism agency in Tanzania, there is a former OIE participant named Daniel who lives there and has I can't remember what exactly it's called, but he has an ecotourism business that he runs.
Sure. His name is Daniel.
Yes, Daniel Mambe.
He's from where? Tanzania is a big country.
Yeah. Let me look him up.
Remember, Sarah, not just the US is a big country.
I know.
He's from Dar es Salaam.
He's from, or he lives in Moshi.
Okay, Moshi, the place where We have Mountain Kilimanjaro there.
Yes.
Yeah, you're good.
So his business is called Rao Eco and Cultural Tourism Enterprise. I'll send it to you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, just one last question before I go. Just Alvaro, you was talking about the relation. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he was talking about the relation, between poverty and climate change.
Yeah.
You know, I was visiting, for my PhD research. I was the last week. I was in the Atlantic coast. I was doing I was exploring the area, see what's going on there. I'm working on some algae. I was there and I found that, when there is a big industry, you know what I mean? Morocco is, he's the first producer of phosphate. I think you know that. And there is a big industry right there in a city in the Atlantic coast. So there it's like a big industry, and they are polluting. The air, the water, and the soil as well. And there is a population right there, and they are suffering from this. And it's been years, people trying to find solution for this, and until now there is no solution. I was there, I was speaking with the locals right there, and I think if there is a big industry, I think it's very, very hard, to force them to applicate laws and to applicate what you was talking about. That's what I was thinking. I don't know what you think about this.
We call here we call that places like sacrificing zone or sacrifice zone. There is a zone, then you say, okay, this industry is necessary for the country or for the economy of the place, so we cannot put off this enterprise. Normally, the poor people lives around these places, and
Yeah,
the rich people that are like, for example, the executive people from that industry or the owners don't live there, lives in other part of the country, because in the sacrificing zones, people lose the value of the homes. For example, you have a home that costs around $40,000. Now it's costing like 5,000, because lose the value when you have that kind of industries. So a poor person cannot sell the house there and buying the same house in another place, because his house lose too many price, too many value. Sorry.
yeah,
So
yeah,
in Chile we have a place like that, and the people is organized in a big organization that is trying to protect the place, because this place is surrounded by industries, like a lot of industries. They have a copper refinery there, oil refinery there, gas refinery there, coal power plant there. They are calling this place is called Puchuncaví Quintero, and it's called in Sacrifice Zone. The government is offering them money, like, okay, we need time to shut down some enterprises. Other companies are going to force it by the law to change the filter system and stuff. And the coal power plant is going off in the next 4 years, I think, because it's going to be replaced for not not conventional energies, for clean energy. But in the process, the government is offering the people money to buy a house in another place. But the people don't want go out. they say, okay, this is my home, it's my father's home, or it's my
Yeah.
grandparents' home. I don't want to go out. The only
Yeah.
solution for these people is going together in a collective lawsuit. Uh, if you try to fight this alone, you are not going to win because you are
Yeah, for
poor.
sure.
You are a poor
That's what I
person.
was talking about. It's
You are a
like,
poor person against the money, against the big company, and
yeah, if
maybe
yeah,
even some people works in the same company, but suffer for the company. It's like you need to work, you work in the company, but the pollution of the company is affecting you and your family. Um, in Chile, is the ambiental law is going strongest, is trying to, no, is asking the companies for better filter system and stuff. But we need to be going to clean energy or going to cleanest production. This is complicated because it's economy, and you need to convince these people that being clean is good for for saving money too. Here in Chile, in the north part, a big mining company was spending a lot of oil to produce electricity for the mining company. Now they put solar panels for the electricity for the company, and they don't use the oil anymore. But that was not for, oh, we need to be environmental. They discovered that they don't need to buy more oil if they have solar panels. It's like, oh, like mind blow, like, oh, we don't need
um,
to purchase the expensive petroleum. We just need solar panels. I think sometimes that is the only solution, like present to companies that being clean could save money for them. Normally, you have some good companies, but normally the companies just care about the savings are the and the earning money every month. If you say them, okay, you are going to win with this, you are going to win for being clean, they normally are more like more receptive for the cleaning ideas.
yeah, for sure. Thanks for the explanation, but I will talk more about it if I had the opportunity. It's very important to share this, and for you as well. We can discuss about it. But I didn't finish yet. I just started the stuff, but you will see that it's very, very hard. I was there just for 3 days in the Atlantic coast. I was in the city, but it's horrible. You know what I mean? I cannot believe this. It's like this population are suffering. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
I don't know, but we will talking about it.
the
If I had the
sacrificing zones.
opportunity, I will talk about it in a presentation like this. You're gonna have a good idea about it.
Mhm. I think it's important because here the sacrificing zones have a really high rate of cancer and other healthy problems. Obviously, the people that if you produce phosphate, this phosphate is going to air too. So the people is dying from lung cancer, the most probably. There in that city, the smell in the city will be the worst because the phosphate have a strong iron for saying to me, and is really acid, so it's affect your skin. So in that places you have people dying for skin cancer, for lung cancer, for ages cancer, and it's contaminating your water. The people in that places dies
Yeah,
for teeth cancer, for tooth cancer. So
yeah,
it's really a reality in the world that we have some sacrificing zones, and people
Yeah.
lives there because if they are poor and they look for works there.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad, actually. But when I finish this, I will I will do a presentation like you did. It's like some pictures from this zone and what I did in this area, and then we can discuss about it. But for the next, if I confirm, if Sarah is agree about the dates, if is it possible to do it before the 20? No.
You can do the 20th or the 30th next of this month. Because
Um,
all of our calls are going to be the 10th, 20th, or 30th of the month, just to keep so that we always know when the calls are.
Yeah, but if I can do it just, I mean, 2 3 days after this, it's not possible.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's don't worry about it because just I mean I'm free this week and this week, so I'm just I mean. But anyway, I can do it the 20, but the 20 I
Okay.
was talking about just I mean a presentation about the bottled water. It's very important
Okay.
and top water. It's like what is the difference and some studies and some results. I will be sharing next.
Yeah,
And the
that'll
most
be
important is
interesting.
like the stuff that I found in this area. It's very just I'm focusing about the distribution of this of a macroalgae in this area. It's like when I go in a safe area in the Atlantic coast, in Morocco, in a safe zone, I found a lot of beautiful out there. But when I go to this area, when there is a lot of industry and a lot of pollution, I don't find anything.
Yeah. It's so
That's very
clear
cool to see.
to
But anyway, I
scientists
will share this opportunity. But Sarah, is it possible to have the
to have the what?
to have because I have presentation in and I can explain in English.
Oh, I think I don't know if there are that many people in this group that speak French. I know there's at least 6 or 7, but um, we could schedule like a francophone call, and then and we could record it, and then you could have your presentation in English or something like that, and we could still upload it. If you wanted to do that in a couple days, I could try and let me make a group of the French speaking people in WhatsApp, and I'll see if they are interested. How's that sound?
No, because I mean, I have only my presentation in French, but for the explanation, I will try to explain in English so
Oh,
people
okay,
can
yeah, that's
understand.
fine. I mean, half of
I will
Alvaro's
not just
presentation was in
only.
Spanish anyway, so same
No,
thing,
no.
right?
Just my sharing screen is gonna be in French because I have the stuff in French, but I will explain in English. I will try to explain.
Yeah, oh yes, that's fine. I
That's
mean,
great.
look at Alvaro's presentation. Fiesta de reciclaje. Les invitamos a participar en las actividades de reciclaje. That's
Oh,
all in
oh,
Spanish. So it's
Yeah,
the same
but
thing, right?
I explained it. It's part of recycling, so I explained it the information
Yeah,
is in
yeah,
so
yeah. Because yeah.
Yeah, no problem. That sounds good.
Okay, okay. So what should I do? Should the title?
Yeah, I'll talk to you after the call if you want about it. I think did
Okay.
Kathleen, didn't you have I'm sorry. Did you have a question?
Catholic.
no, Kevin, no, Han. I'm okay.
Um, well, I wasn't able to really catch the whole Alvarez presentation, but um, I'll message if I do have question. I'm just also thinking about because yesterday I was just in oh no, yeah, yesterday I visited the place for a cold that a cold plant was supposed to be placed, and so I wasn't catching up with the conversation, but it's just on my mind. Like I was also thinking of maybe I can share something in the future, but right now I don't have a question. But I'm just thinking about what I can like put on the table for the group. So not no
Okay.
not a question right now.
Okay, gotcha. Just want to give you a chance to talk if you did.
All right, thank you.
All right. If Inez, do you have any further questions? I did send an email to the two of you so that you can connect with your email.
I saw
Your
it.
email.
I
So
saw it.
yes.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
I mean, if I if I stay here, I will just ask and ask. Anyway,
I love your
uh,
curiosity.
yeah, because it's my second time. I think it's my second time. I'm so excited. So it's fantastic. But we're working on other opportunities and stuff. It's amazing to find a community that share the same stuff like you. It's like the same interest, the same. It's no, it's rare to find it. You know what I mean? I've been traveling so, and finally I just came here, and you know. But by the way, for my presentation in the 20, I've been talking about the bottled water in Morocco and in the France as well. I worked in some bottle
Okay.
of Morocco and in France. Okay, and I will compare. I will talk about this, and for the second, and like I talk whatever, it's about the Atlantic coast. You have the Atlantic coast in the Chile as well, right? The
No,
same.
they're on the Pacific.
The Pacific, not. You don't have a no.
No, the other one is Argentina.
No, I need to see the
What's
map.
your flavor?
Here. I don't know if you can see that.
I can see. Yeah.
Okay. So Morocco's here, and I don't know if you can see, but Chile's down here. So
Yeah.
he's
It's
right
the
here.
other side. Okay. I thought it's in the.
The other one is Argentina.
Yeah. Or Brazil.
Yeah. The Pacific. Okay.
It's kind of
Brazil's the country we like.
I've never been there. It's. Are you from there as well, Sarah, or?
No, but I lived there for about 8 months. I did a study abroad there and then came back because Chile is just irresistible. And that's where I met Alvaro.
No.
We were in an environmental ethics class together.
Okay,
Okay.
that's good. That's fantastic.
So, yeah, last year I spoke at a at a youth retreat that he led when I went back to visit. Are you doing that retreat this year as well? Alvaro?
what?
Are you
Yeah,
leading?
I'm going to do it national one. The last one was regional. Now I will do a national one
Okay.
with different topics. But in one of topics, I just put there the environmental stuff because it's a Catholic retreat. Pope Francis is talking about climate change, so it's easy to put in a Catholic retreat some environmental stuff.
Especially with the Pope's visit coming up. So that'll be an interesting opportunity for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming on the call and for sticking around for all the questions. I love hearing your questions because I like to ask questions, and I bugged Alvaro for like five months straight with all my questions when I was there. So He's a great teacher. Our next call will be with Yunez on the 20th, as you all heard. And then on the 30th, I think Amanda will be talking about, what'd she say? She said she was going to be talking about, where was it? The Salton Sea. And it has to do with water allocation and, just water resource rights. So that should be an interesting one as well. So, Kelvin and Kathleen, if you two want to sign up to give a webinar, that would be awesome. Talk to your partners about it and see what you can do. And if you have any questions, let me know or let your mentors know. Do you both have? You. I think you both have Amelin. Is that correct?
Both? No, I don't think. No. I don't have.
Who's your mentor?
Sorry.
All right. Yeah, I'm not sure who it was, but I'll check, Kelvin, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Okay.
Okay.
Well, everyone have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll see you in a week and a half, 10 days.
Okay, bye, Alvaro. Say hi to mom.
Yeah. Tell your mom I say hi too. And I miss her sopapillas. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.